Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Please take your seats if you're still coming in. We're so excited to have you at this session, so thank you for attending and hope you've had a great first day so far at the conference. My name is Tal. I'm a first-year MBA student at MIT Sloan, part of the organizing team for this weekend, so it's really exciting to see everyone here finally in person. So I'm thrilled to introduce this Competitive Advantage talk. Competitive Advantage talks are sponsored by Kager, also known as Craft Analytics Group. And this presentation specifically is preparing for launch, how the Miami Dolphins applied data analytics to strategy and amplified the moment, presented by Ticketmaster. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Jordan Weatherby, Director of Analytics at the Miami Dolphins. Jordan, hand it over to you.
Thank you, Tal. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's really great to be back at Sloan. It's really great to see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd and a lot of new ones here. So I really want to take the time and say thank you for being here. I know there's great panels going on. There's actually one that I want to see, but I'll catch it on the rebound. But here today, what I want to talk about is how our team at the Miami Dolphins has had this long-term strategic plan on both our data and selling side. And we've had these goals in mind, and we've had great on-the-field success this past season, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but how that basically moved up our timeline of hitting our goals. But I want to stress the importance is that we were ready, we were prepared, and we were prepared for launch. So in 2019, we set out to enhance our data environment, and we wanted to really do it from start to finish. And before we began that process, we set out with these guiding principles to help us through our decision-making process. We wanted to have clear and consistent common business language so that everyone in the organization would truly understand the terms and metrics that we use in our reporting, and there would be no questions about what it means to have ROI on any of our products. We wanted to build dimension models not only for our current analysts, but our future analysts in mind so they could easily facilitate data discovery. And I know everyone probably in the room feels this. You never want to lose your data, right? So we had protocols in place that we would make sure if anything were to happen, we could recover what we lost. And lastly, we wanted to roll out a really strong, viable product, but we also understood that we would always be looking for continuous ways to improve. And with those principles in mind, we created our architecture goals. So we wanted to have a data and analytics platform that was scalable, extensible, and provided consistent and quality data to all of our end users. It was really also important for us to have a mobile-first strategy. I know we felt this a lot working from home in COVID. Previously, we were on-prem, so we couldn't get insights and analytics to our end users if they weren't on our local network. So we wanted to update this. So in real time, I was actually looking at our Power BI reports right before this presentation, and I could do it from here and not be tied to Miami. And then everyone knows it's really important to build trust and reliability in your data, right? You want to make sure that you have champions on all ends of the spectrum of your organization who have that one source of truth and everyone's talking the same language. And lastly, we want to establish a data dictionary, which is really important for all of our analysts on our team, but also to make sure that we had great onboarding success when new members would join. And this brings us to our process today. So right now, we have a multitude of data sources that go into our data lake where it's clean and organized, where we then create our modeled data, which helps us in fast query performance, which eventually ends up in our Power BI data sets for reporting in here. And we've really focused on growing and making our processes better and have more data integrations here. So in 2019, we had about 3 million in 2019, we had about 3 million contacts, and today we have doubled that. It kind of helps when you add a Miami Open tennis tournament and an F1 race as well. So with this data modeling that we've done and these efficiencies that we've created, we've enabled our data analysts to move off from really, scrubbing data, pulling it from multiple sources, to really be able to focus on creating actionable insights. And here I've listed just some of the projects that we've been able to do over the past 2 seasons, and it's been really great to see our organization grow in that way. Pivoting a little bit to talk about our membership base here. So in 2015, we renovated our stadium. We've got a canopy, which in Miami, if you've been down there, it's always great to have the shaded side. But we had this idea in place that we would have 80 to 85% of our stadium be sold as season tickets. And we came to this number because it still allows us to maximize revenue when we have popular opponents come to town, but still drive incremental revenue when we had less popular opponents come. And regardless of the size, it was really, really important for us to have a strong, long-tenured, and high propensity to renew membership base at the end of the day. So we talk a little bit, data analytics is a little bit of art and science. So we had both of us here with our membership base. We have also transitioned to selling more in the moment. I know everyone in this room has had to transition the way that they sell post-COVID and during COVID. Beforehand, this is what our process looked like. We had, very targeted leads pushed through our CRM systems. Our reps would call them, say, hey, come out to the stadium, we're having an event, or let me show you where their seats will be. And we always know that's a little bit of an ask, right? Having people come drive out to Miami Gardens when maybe they live, up in Boca or down south in Miami. It's a little bit, Miami, still traffic is terrible pre or post-COVID as well. And so this was a longer sales process, and there was hurdles along the ways. We still made the sales, but we decided to switch to this shorter sales process here that allow us to sell in the moment. So we're still getting leads targeted through our CRM systems, but we've also moved to selling directly online when there's inventory available. And this isn't just single game tickets, right, that you can see online. We could sell season tickets this way too. And then if the leads came through CRM, we did have our reps call and have those conversations with them, but instead of having them come out to the stadium, we switched more to a virtual appointments. And so we were made our sales that way. And you can see in our diagram, cut out a few steps to really focus about selling in the moment. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how the migration to Florida has really helped us and honestly other teams in the area. I understand we share the state with a couple other NFL teams and other sports as well. But Florida was the fastest growing state in 2021 while being the third most populous, which is really hard to do. But specifically in Miami-Dade County, they broke the annual home sales in 2021 in just 10 months. And then we saw a 50% increase in condo sales from October 19 to 2021. And now that I've laid about the foundation of where we were before this 2022 season, I'm bringing you to the forefront here. So this was the beginning of our new sales campaign for our 2022 season. We had really finished a very strong positive outlook on our 21 season. And our last 9 games, we were 8-1, and we just signed a new coach, Coach McDaniel, and there was a lot of buzz around them. And you can see here, we were already on pace above our goal for our new memberships than we were in 2021. And then we all got the ESPN notification on our phone. The Miami Dolphins had traded for Tyreek Hill. We were in the middle of the Miami Open tennis tournament there, and you could see all the sales reps who we were out lunch, enjoying the day, and everyone gets the notification. And they don't really have cheetah speed, but I saw them move faster than I've seen any sales reps move before. And so in that day, we did 17 times more revenue than we had been averaging in our new sales campaign previously. And it really spiked us in there. Between March and April, we saw a 26% of our membership sales happen in that time, which is an unexpected time for us as an NFL team because it's post-campaign launch, but pre-schedule release. And then we finished our new sales campaign being #1 in the league for club new season tickets and 3rd overall for general season tickets. So during this time, we knew we were approaching sellout. We knew we were approaching this threshold here. And we knew we were heading way sooner than we anticipated. So we knew before June we would hit it. And so what we decided to do was open up 5% more of our stadium to season tickets, still staying within that 80 to 85% range for an ideal membership base. May 20th, we hit our goal. We were super excited, but we weren't done. There was still more to go. But we still had huge demand, and we only had that 5% more that we had in our stadium left. So we got some heads together and brainstormed what we would do, and we decided we were going to create a wait list for the first time in club history. And we researched what other NFL teams did, what other local teams did, worked with legal to make sure we had everything in place from start to finish, and really thought out our membership wait list product. So what we decided to do was create 3 tiers of deposits: luxury, club, and general. And we wanted to do this because we wanted to understand the demand for what type of product we might have for our season tickets for next year, and how that might influence our product mix or any decisions we might make in the future there. We had online deposits ranging in those 3 areas, but also our reps sold online or over the phone. And during that, in the general, we even got to get down to the nitty-gritty of, are these people more interested in upper or lower? And we were able to denote that in their Arctic's price code when they bought their deposit through our rep. And so the idea of the wait list began. August 8th, we were officially sold out of our season tickets. We celebrated, but we immediately switched to selling our deposits and sold 95 deposits in that first day. So we get to the season, and we're in the middle of this, and we've had this organizational stance to get rid of bad actors who exhibit excessive resale activity, because at the end of the day, it's not creating the best environment for Dolphins fans, and the best seats don't go to Dolphins fans that we know of. So we decided to not renew these bad actors for the 2023 season. And because of this, we were able to offer our loyal, strong, and high propensity renew membership base better tickets and foster a better game day environment. Now, we weren't just cruel, we weren't cool about it. We gave them notification and gave them a long runway to an appeal process. Lots of people reached out, let us know that they were on military deployment, had temporary work relocations, health issues for this year. So we did reinstate people who reached out to us and let us know, because at the end of the day, those are Dolphins fans still. We didn't want to punish anyone for their circumstances they couldn't control. And as our offensive tackle, Teron Armstead, said, he wanted to make every home game a house party, and we wanted to make that happen for our 2023 season. For our membership base, we have an auto-enroll process. It's basically like subscribing to Netflix. What you do is you sign this reoccurring payment agreement. It's called an RPA, and we charge you for your season tickets for the following year in the November of the current season. 10-month payment plan. From 2015 to 2018, it was a very manual process. We had to get the paper in front of our members, have them sign it, and then our poor CRM admins, I know there are some of you in the crowd, had to upload them and tag them to the CRM context. Now, we are in a much easier way, and our CRM team is very thankful for that. It's all digital. They sign it through Adobe, it gets uploaded and tagged and ready to go. Before our season started this year, we were at a 70% enrollment rate. Good, not great. We weren't forcing people to sign or anything, and anyone who was paid in full for their season tickets didn't have to sign at all. But we really wanted to concentrate on having a long tenured and strong base here, and we knew we would have that if we increased our RPA enrollment. Also, our service team has about 700 to 1,100 accounts they have to go chase in between November and February for renewals. And having this RPA makes it much easier for them and for them to focus on accounts that need that extra touch in hand. So for 4 to 6 weeks, this was the #1 priority for our service team. They called current members, sent them the RPAs, sent weekly emails, and anyone who bought new season tickets during this off season were immediately sent the RPA agreement through CRM and email. So we're really happy to get it up to 90% before the season started, for our highest enrollment in club history. And it really translated well when we started our renewals. So we start our renewals in November of the season that we're currently in. I know it's a little bit different from team to team, but it was really great because on the first day, we had 78% of our accounts, or seats, renew for next year, which is great, which meant less time chasing other accounts and focusing on those that needed the touch point. And before we even went out with renewals, we did a price elasticity exercise because we wanted to see where we could take strategic price increases without negatively impacting our renewals, so we could still have that season ticket member base that had that high propensity to renew year over year. And now we are talking about real-time data, right? That's always the buzzword, how real-time can we get? We're in the middle of our waitlist conversion process right now. We went out with clubs first, and we sold out of our club inventory within 3 days, and we still had a whole day of time slots left. And right now, we're in the middle of our general renewal process, and I'm waiting for that email to say that we're sold out. Can't wait to get it, hopefully maybe after this presentation is done. But here's the thing, we don't want 2022 to be our most successful season, right? It sits on the trophy shelf, it sits there. We want to add another one and then another one. So what we'll do is refine where we need to, evaluate the processes that we have, but also repeat the successes that we have. Because we've made great strides and we want to continue doing so. And lastly, we always want to innovate the new products that we offer our Dolphins fans that will drive incremental revenue for our organization as well. And I have 2 examples up here. The bottom left picture there is our museum that we had for our 1972 perfect season. And to the right of that is our Publix patio, which was a members-only area for Dolphins fans. And these structures were actually suite structures constructed for our F1 race in May of the previous year. And so we're always thinking about these ways that we can do it. And the top right there is renderings of our new permanent paddock club structure that we can't wait to roll out for our Dolphins fans and new experiences that way. Before I wrap up, I just want to give a little anecdote. I got a Snapchat notification on this day. You know, we get those. 6 years ago today, I was on my way to this conference with a couple of other Oklahoma students, or grad students at the time. And so if there's anyone in the audience who was like, man, I want to be up there one day, I want to present, I want to be in this industry, you can. There's endless opportunities here. And there are so many people who are here willing to help you get there. You just got to ask. So thank you for your time today. I'll open the floor for any questions.
That's amazing, thank you. So please raise your hand if you have questions. We'll run around with microphones, but Jordan, up to you to pick the questions.
All right, here in the front.
Hi, thank you. When you did the bad actors exercise, I mean, if you're at liberty to say, what was roughly the number of accounts you came up with, and what was your initial process of breaking the news to them, like through what channel?
So not liberty to say the seats, but we sent an email out as a non-renewal notice saying, you know, we decided not to offer you the renewal. We didn't take away any tickets that they paid for, but in our terms and conditions, we can revoke tickets at any time, and we just didn't offer them renewals for the 2023 season.
Did you get any sort of
feedback?
Media backlash or?
Not necessarily media. I actually got the anonymous email inbox and read through all of them. I did that myself, and it was like the human touch. There were people who said they were going to go out. We worked with our PR and marketing team to understand, and at the end of the day, the goal was to have the best Dolphins member experience and have those seats for our Dolphins fans. So it's really hard to argue against that one. Thank you. Got a couple more.
Thanks for sharing your data infrastructure, really interesting. How much of that data is shared between the business side and the sports or on-field side? And are there ever conflicts of interest on those 2 sides?
So our team performance and business, warehouses, environments, completely separate. We talk shop, but we never share data in that way.
First off, really awesome learning more about the Dolphins infrastructure with the data. I'm curious, as a student that goes to the University of Miami, I'm very familiar with the difference between getting people to buy tickets and getting people to actually show up, especially in a city like Miami with a lot of entertainment options. What have been some of the strategies you guys have been using to make sure fans are not just buying tickets, but also showing up to the stadium?
A great question. Yes, understand Miami is an entertainment capital of the world, but some of the examples that I had up there at the end, the Publix patio, getting buy-in, it's not just a game, it is the experience and how we can get people, you know, we have a crazy tailgate crew. They're there at 9 a.m. when parking lots open. And so we just want to foster that environment for everyone by providing things outside of just the game of football. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. Could you please speak a little bit just to some of the components of the price elasticity exercise and how accurate the renewal rates were compared to what you were predicting?
So we did do a renewal model before we went out, and I will say we got blown out of the water with that 93%, which is great. So what we looked at is how people moved within our stadium and the likelihood to renew in certain areas. We do have a very sunny side of the stadium, and we understood that people would move out, but they would still renew into other areas, and that might not be a price point, but where we could probably not take a strategic price increase in those areas because there was already demand to move out of those areas.
My question is, we all know players can go, players can come. How are you guys like focusing possibly on the future of like, oh crap, if someone does leave, do you have plans for that, or how's your team handling that?
So like the premise of this is we were ready. Tyreek just accelerated our goal. And so by being strategic, by creating those in that Dolphins experience, doesn't matter what the product is on the field, what we can do as a service team and a sales team to create those lifelong memories is what we do. I mean, I would love to keep all of our players forever and continue our success, but we all know in the industry we can't count on on-field or on-court performance to sell tickets, but it does help.
Thank you. First off, this was super informative, and I really appreciated hearing all of it. You were talking a lot about, the member strategy, the 80 to 85%, and then reducing the prominent resales among your members. Was that part of a complementary strategy with that other 15 to 20% of the stadium with a single game ticket strategy that you can talk about, or any kind of other, complementary strategy going on along there with your inventory?
So the 80 to 85 is like our core, right? That's what we think of. Removing the bad actors from it is they're still within that 80 to 85. So during our new sales campaign, we will essentially backfill to still be in that range for those that we removed. Does that answer it?
Sort of. I was wondering
Yeah.
more about like this is a strategy with your members, but you have the rest of the stadium with your single game tickets, whether you had a complementary strategy going on there.
So we do dynamically price for our single game inventory. So we have, and it's interesting with the NFL, teams alternate between having 9 regular seasons and 8 regular seasons. So we're going into a 9 regular season game this season. And so we're super excited. We have some strong opponents coming into town. So we'll definitely dynamically price based on that. And that's where we really elevate our single game inventory and optimize revenue there.
Thank you.
Okay.
You mentioned data being the source of truth. I think that's such a beautiful concept. It's the reason I became a programmer. So with all this amazing data, I was wondering if you're utilizing deep learning to objectively analyze it instead of using subjective expert opinions?
If I had the resources and people and time, yes. It's on the wish list. It's on the roadmap. Just currently right now, we are not.
Oh, okay. It's something that's really amazing.
Thank you. Kevin, I know you've been. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
Thank you, Jordan. As a proud South Florida native, great to see this here. Couple questions. So one is, when you guys had the moment and you had the online sales and the reps calling, what were the percentages looking like one way versus the other, online reps? And then two, what other sales tools were you all using? Maybe like a AI tool or other plugins to Dynamics throughout the process to help?
So I don't know the percentages exactly off the top of my head. We do use Conversica as a tool for our sales teams, but the way the Dolphins right now, we didn't really need Conversica. It was very much inbound, which I know is not always the case for the Conversica use case.
We have time for one more question.
Kevin's been waiting. He's been holding his hand.
Back here.
Right there.
Appreciate it. You were talking about shortening the sales process, given some analysis. Can you talk about the experience of taking your insights to your sales reps, changing that process, and then what the buy-in and experience was from the sales rep side? Did they appreciate this change in process? Was it easier on their lives? Anything you can speak to on that?
Yeah, we actually have a recent example of that where we sent, we had a lead campaign sent to all of our reps, and then we identified the top 10 based on a couple of proprietary information that we have at the Dolphins and sent it out to the reps, and almost every single one of them came back and said, thank you, this is helpful, like we're targeting these people now. And we have that organizational culture at the Dolphins that they trust the data, right? And they're very interested in that. And the way our sales reps see it, anything that I do to provide the sales to be an easier process for them, they're in. And I very much appreciate them for that because I know that's not always the case.
Thank you so much, Jordan. This was amazing.
Thank y'all.